By day, Amina looked like every other young woman struggling through life in Lagos. She worked quietly at a small pharmacy, greeted neighbors politely, smiled softly at children who passed, and kept to herself. People admired her calmness, the way she carried herself like someone who had made peace with life. But they didn't know that her silence was stitched with fear, regret, and a secret so heavy that it bent her spirit every night. Amina lived with her younger sister, Zara, a bright-eyed 17-year-old whose laughter filled their small apartment like sunshine spilling through cracked blinds. Zara believed her sister was simply hardworking, always leaving before midnight and returning tired before dawn. Amina always kissed her forehead, saying the same line every night. "Sleep well. I'll be okay." It became a ritual, a lie wrapped in care. But the city changed when the sun vanished. Streets grew dangerous, eyes grew sharper, and secrets crawled out from hiding. Every night at exactly 11:45 p.m., Amina would stand before the mirror, stare at herself, and whisper as if begging her reflection for forgiveness. Then she would take the bag under her bed, the one no one was allowed to touch. Her heart raced, her hands trembled. She hated this life, this darkness she couldn't escape. But she had no choice. She owed a debt. She owed loyalty. She owed survival. And survival came at a price. Amina locked the door each night with one chilling thought echoing in her mind. If anyone ever discovers what I do at night, my life will be over. Before her nights became prisons, Amina had dreams. She wanted to become a nurse, open a small clinic, help women like her mother who died because hospitals demanded money before compassion. She promised herself she would never be powerless again. But life has a cruel sense of humor. Sometimes the things you run from circle back stronger. It started the day her father died and left behind more than grief. He left debts to men who didn't forgive. Men with guns. Men with eyes that smiled without warmth. Men who saw desperation as opportunity. They came one evening when rain beat the rooftops like angry fists. They didn't shout. They didn't threaten loudly. They simply spoke, calm and deadly, reminding Amina that debt never dies. People do. She begged for time. They gave her a deal instead. A job. A dangerous job. A job she couldn't refuse. Because Zara still needed school. Because rent still needed to be paid. Because the world didn't care that she was tired of being strong. So Amina accepted the chains wrapped in politeness. Since then, night became her battlefield. She learned to navigate places good people avoided. She learned to walk like someone fearless even when fear screamed in her chest. She learned to silence guilt because guilt didn't feed people. But the worst part wasn't danger. It was secrecy. Looking into Zara's trusting eyes each morning and pretending everything was okay. That was the true punishment. Every lie cut deeper than the last. Every night increased the risk. And one day, that risk would explode. Amina just didn't know how soon that day would come. There was one person who controlled everything, Malik. Tall, elegant, charming in a way that made danger look attractive. He dressed in expensive suits, spoke softly, and never raised his voice. That made him terrifying. He didn't need to shout. His presence alone commanded obedience. Malik was the kind of man who looked at you once and stripped your soul bare. He found Amina the night the deal was sealed. She remembered every second. The cold room, the cigarette smoke coiling like ghosts, the way he smiled when she agreed to work for him. Not cruelly, not happily, just knowingly, like he understood life always bends good people until they break. "You're smart," he had said. "You're quiet, and you're desperate. That combination makes you useful." Useful. That was all she was to him. A tool. Every night Malik sent instructions. A pickup, a delivery, a message to pass, a place to sit and watch. Nothing illegal on paper, but everyone knew it wasn't innocent. She was an invisible hand in dangerous transactions. A face no one remembered but everyone feared would talk. But she wouldn't. Malik made sure of that. He protected Zara's school payments. He ensured their landlord stayed silent. He even sent groceries sometimes, playing savior. But saviors like him never helped for free. They always collected their payment in pieces of your soul. Still, there was something strange about Malik. Sometimes when he looked at Amina, it wasn't coldness in his eyes. It was curiosity. And curiosity is dangerous. Because curiosity leads to obsession. And obsession destroys everything. Secrets are like glass. At first they hold. They shine. They reflect strength. But one small crack, and everything begins to shatter. The first crack in Amina's double life came unexpectedly. It was an ordinary morning. the sky bright, Zara humming in the kitchen, Amina pretending to be fine as usual. But as she turned, she stumbled. Dizzy from exhaustion, she could no longer hide. Plates shattered. Zara screamed her name. Amina collapsed. When she woke, Zara's eyes were swollen from crying. Her voice trembled. "Where do you go every night? Why are you always tired? What are you hiding from me?" The questions sliced her. She wanted to confess. She wanted to drop the burden at her sister's feet and beg for understanding. But Malik's words echoed. "If anyone knows, they own your death." So Amina smiled weakly, lied again, said it was extra work. Night shifts, nothing serious, just trying to keep them afloat. Zara stared at her for a long time, pain mixing with doubt. Trust was breaking. Later that night, Malik sent her to a meeting more dangerous than usual. More men, more tension, more eyes that looked like wolves. She almost failed, almost got caught, almost didn't come home. And as she stood outside her apartment at dawn, trembling, one realization slammed into her chest. Her secret wasn't just destroying her anymore. It was beginning to destroy Zara too. This was the night everything shifted. A job unlike the others. Malik's tone different. Serious. No hint of charm. "This one must not fail," he said. "If it goes wrong, many people get hurt. Including you." They met at an abandoned warehouse near the edge of the city. Wind howled through broken windows. Shadows stretched like claws. Men whispered. Guns glinted. And for the first time, fear didn't just sit inside Amina's chest. It roared. She wasn't delivering a message. She wasn't passing information. She was part of something bigger. Something explosive. As negotiations grew heated, voices rose, fingers tightened on triggers, and Amina stood helpless at the center of a storm she wasn't built for. Someone accused betrayal. Someone shouted her name. Then shots fired. Chaos erupted. Amina ran, heart racing, breathing broken,
If you love powerful
tears
African
burning.
stories like this,
She didn't stop
don't forget to
until she
subscribe
reached the
and
city
turn the
lights.
notification bell
She
so you
wanted to
never miss another
disappear. She wanted to scream. She wanted to stop living this life. But when she reached home, Zara was gone. Her phone rang. Malik's voice was calm. Too calm. "We need to talk. About your sister." And at that moment, Amina realized the truth. The secret she hid every night was no longer her burden alone. Now it threatened everything she loved. Amina barely remembered how she got to Malik's private office. The walls were glass, the city glowing behind him like a kingdom he owned. Zara was seated on a couch to the side, unharmed but shaken, her hands clenched in her lap. The relief that flooded Amina was quickly crushed by fear. Malik had her sister. That was the message. That was the leash. "She's safe," Malik said smoothly, pouring himself a drink. For now. Amina fell to her knees without realizing it. Pride meant nothing anymore. She begged. She promised obedience. She swore loyalty. Malik watched with calm interest, like a man inspecting a cracked mirror. "You ran," he said. "That caused problems. People died confused. That's bad for business." Tears streamed down Amina's face as Malik explained the new terms. Her debt wasn't paid anymore. It had doubled. She would work exclusively for him now. No hesitation, no mistakes, no disappearances. And Zara would remain protected until Malik decided Amina had earned freedom. Zara didn't understand everything, but she understood enough. Her eyes locked with Amina's, wide with betrayal and terror. "You said you were just working," she whispered. That night, Amina returned home alone. She screamed into her pillow until her voice broke. The secret had officially destroyed her peace. Days blurred together. Amina moved like a ghost through daylight, her smile hollow, her eyes distant. Without Zara at home, the apartment felt like a grave. Silence mocked her. Every corner reminded her of what she had lost. At night, Malik pushed her deeper into the underworld. She attended meetings she didn't understand, delivered packages she refused to open, memorized faces she prayed she'd forget. Her hands shook constantly. Sleep abandoned her. Food tasted like ash. But the worst torture was guilt. Zara called sometimes, always supervised, always brief. She tried to sound strong, but Amina heard the fear underneath. Each call ended the same way. "Please come get me." Amina promised she would. She didn't know how. One night, after a particularly dangerous job, Amina collapsed in an alley, shaking uncontrollably. That was where she met Daniel, a quiet security consultant who had been watching Malik's operations from the shadows. He offered her water. Then a warning. "You don't belong here," he said softly. And Malik doesn't keep people forever. He breaks them. For the first time in months, someone saw her. And for the first time, hope whispered her name. Daniel began appearing more often, never too close, never too obvious. He didn't push. He listened. Slowly, carefully, Amina began to talk. Not everything, but enough. Fear spilled out in fragments. Guilt. Zara. Malik. Daniel revealed the truth. Malik was under investigation. International crimes. Money laundering. Human trafficking. And Amina was a key piece of evidence. You help us, Daniel said. And we can get your sister out. Trusting him could get her killed. Not trusting him would definitely destroy Zara. That night, Malik sensed the shift. His eyes lingered on Amina longer than usual. His voice sharpened. You're changing, he said. Be careful. Curiosity ruins loyalty. Amina realized she was running out of time. She agreed to help Daniel. And that decision sealed her fate. The plan was dangerous and simple. Amina would wear a wire during a major deal. Evidence would be captured. Malik would fall. Zara would be freed. But Malik wasn't careless. Halfway through the meeting, his gaze snapped to Amina's bag. His smile faded. He reached forward. Everything froze. Amina bolted. Gunshots echoed. Men shouted. Daniel intervened, dragging her through chaos. They barely escaped. But Malik saw everything. That night, Zara didn't call. Malik did. You betrayed me, he said calmly. Now you'll learn what loss really feels like. Amina collapsed, sobbing. The secret had finally turned against her. Daniel revealed the truth. Malik planned to disappear. If he escaped, Zara would vanish forever. There was only one way to stop him. Amina had to go back. Alone. She walked into Malik's compound at midnight, heart pounding, knowing she might not come out alive. Malik smiled when he saw her. I knew you'd return, he said. She confessed everything. The wire, the betrayal, the fear, the love for her sister. She begged one last time. Malik laughed. Then police sirens screamed. Daniel had moved early. Chaos exploded. Malik tried to flee. Amina blocked him. He raised his gun and pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot rang in Amina's ears long after her body hit the ground. Pain exploded through her side, hot and consuming, stealing her breath as darkness closed in. For a moment, she thought this was it, that her secret had finally claimed her life. Faces blurred above her, shouting, sirens, chaos folding into silence. She woke in a hospital room, the smell of antiseptic thick in the air. Tubes snaked around her body, and every movement sent agony tearing through her ribs. Daniel was there, standing stiffly by the window, relief etched deeply into his face. You're alive, he said quietly, as if afraid the words might break. Malik had been arrested while trying to escape through a back exit. The gunshot he fired struck Amina, but the evidence Daniel's team collected sealed his fate. Accounts frozen, men detained, a criminal empire cracking apart. But Amina barely heard any of it. Zara? She whispered. Daniel hesitated just long enough to terrify her. She's safe. She's with social services for now. She's asking for you. Tears streamed down Amina's face, soaking the pillow. Relief hurt almost as much as the wound in her side. For the first time in years, the weight on her chest lifted slightly, but guilt rushed in to replace it. Zara knew now. Everything. As Amina drifted in and out of sleep, nightmares haunted her. Malik's voice. Gunshots. Zara's frightened eyes. Survival didn't feel like victory. Felt like punishment. She wondered if Zara would ever forgive her, or if the secret she hid every night had already destroyed the one bond that mattered most. Zara visited 3 days later. She stood stiffly at the foot of the hospital bed, arms crossed, eyes guarded. She looked older somehow, like innocence had been peeled away overnight. Amina's heart shattered at the sight. I know everything, Zara said flatly. The police told me. Daniel filled in the rest. Amina tried to sit up, pain flaring. I wanted to protect you, she whispered. Every night. I did it for you. Zara laughed bitterly. You lied to me. You disappeared. You let them take me. The words cut deeper than Malik's bullet. Amina broke down, sobbing uncontrollably, confessing everything she had carried alone. The fear, the debt, the nights she wanted to die rather than keep going. She didn't defend herself. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She just told the truth. Silence followed. Then Zara stepped closer. Her voice cracked. I was so scared, she said. I thought you didn't care anymore. Amina reached for her hand. Zara hesitated, then took it. They cried together, grief and love tangling painfully. Healing didn't arrive in that moment, but something fragile was rebuilt. Trust, bruised but breathing. Outside the room, Daniel watched quietly, knowing some battles couldn't be fought with guns or badges. Malik's trial dominated the city. Headlines screamed. Names were exposed. Networks collapsed. Amina testified from behind protective screens, her voice steady despite shaking hands. She told the court everything. For the first time, her secret was no longer hers to carry alone. Freedom felt strange. With Malik gone, the nights grew quiet, but sleep didn't come easily. Amina jumped at shadows. Loud sounds sent her heart racing. Trauma clung like a second skin. Daniel arranged therapy, protection, relocation if needed. He never pushed, never hovered. Zara moved back home slowly. Laughter returned in small pieces. They learned each other again, scarred but together. One evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, Zara said softly, "You survived. That means something." Amina nodded, tears in her eyes. Survival wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning. Months passed. Amina started volunteering at a women's clinic, helping victims of exploitation rebuild their lives. Every story mirrored her own in painful ways. And every time she listened, she healed a little more. Daniel remained in her life, not as a rescuer, but as a constant. Friendship grew into something deeper, cautious and slow. Love didn't rush in. It waited. One night, Amina stood by the window at 11:45 p.m., the hour that once controlled her. She smiled softly and turned away from the door. For the first time, she stayed home. A year later, Amina stood in a small clinic she helped open. Zara was in school, thriving. The city still buzzed with danger and secrets, but hers no longer owned her. When people asked about her past, she didn't lie. She didn't hide. She lived. The secret she hid every night almost destroyed her. But telling the truth saved her. Freedom didn't erase the scars. It revealed them. Amina learned that healing was not a straight road but a circle. Some days calm, other days crushing. Certain smells pulled her back into dark rooms. Certain hours tightened her chest. Midnight still whispered old fears, even though the danger was gone. Trauma had a memory of its own. Therapy helped. Talking helped. But what helped most was purpose. At the clinic, she met women whose eyes mirrored her past. Fearful, guarded, ashamed. Some had been tricked, others forced. Many blamed themselves. Amina never rushed them. She listened, and when she spoke with honesty, not pity. "I survived," she would say quietly. And survival doesn't mean you were weak. Each story healed a piece of her she didn't know was broken. Zara noticed the change first. Her sister stood taller now. Her laughter, though softer, was real. They cooked together again, argued over small things, lived like sisters, not secrets. One night, Zara asked, "Do you ever regret it?" Amina thought carefully. "I regret the pain," she said, "but not the strength it showed me I had." For the first time, she believed it. Daniel never pushed her past her comfort. He never tried to rescue her again. He simply stayed. They walked together often, through markets, by quiet roads, under evening skies. Silence between them was easy. When Amina spoke about the past, he listened without trying to fix it. One night, she finally asked, "Why didn't you leave when things got hard?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Because you didn't give up when everything was hard." "Why should I?" Love came quietly. No drama, no rush, just trust growing like roots beneath the soil. When he held her hand for the first time, Amina didn't flinch. That mattered more than anything. On the anniversary of Malik's arrest, Amina returned to the part of the city she once feared most. She stood outside the abandoned warehouse, the place that almost ended her life. The building was empty now, silent, powerless. She stepped inside. Her heart raced. Memories clawed at her, but she stood her ground. "This no longer owns me," she whispered, and for the first time, it didn't. She walked out lighter. Zara graduated with honors. Amina cried louder than anyone. Watching her sister step into a future free from fear was the greatest reward she could imagine. The clinic expanded. More women came. More lives changed. Amina began speaking publicly, softly, bravely, about survival, coercion, and the cost of silence. Her voice mattered now. She no longer hid. One quiet night, Amina stood by the window again. 11:45 p.m., the hour that once controlled her life. She turned off the light, walked back to her bed, and lay beside the man who loved her and the life she built. No fear, no lies, no running. The secret she hid every night almost destroyed her. But telling it, owning it, surviving it, set her free.